Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. It's Jake and Otto and Theodore and Esmeralda's in the buggy, and we're here at Walkie Farm with Margama. And geez, I had a big day at the butchery today. We have had our biggest week ever with, the previous week, with orders coming in, Christmas hams, Christmas orders, this Bovear supplement that's being fed out in dairies and feedlots around the world to cut methane has got consumers riled up, and they're wanting to source foodstuffs that are not contaminated or tainted or molested by these inputs. We've had a big week. I don't know how much of an effect that's had, but we have had quite a few first-time customers. We're thankful for it. We believe in the mission of chemical-free, clean foods. And on at the Grounded event in Tasmania that I just spoke at Matthew Evans Fat Pig Farm down there in Hobart, just south of Hobart. Theodore, you're okay, buddy? He's okay. That's not Bombu, that's Kaya. We spoke about things like clean food. Here's Princess's heifer calf. And customers, I think a really interesting talking point when we're talking about chemical free. Of course, I understand people get frustrated because water is a chemical, copper is a chemical, magnesium's a chemical, and all these things are important and vital to health and life. But we can't get caught up in semantics. When customers are wanting chemical-free food, it's pretty obvious that they're just asking for stuff without poison in it. They want stuff that's not contaminated and tainted with poison. And I think that's okay. You don't need anything to grow beef except grass and water. And here we're on a new farm, and we've had a relatively dry season, and we don't have the amount of feed that we budgeted for. And part of our grazing plan, part of our management plan, part of our holistic context is to not let a dry season slow down the fertility building on this farm. If I can import a bale of hay like this for $40, like this one costs me, or $100 like they're valued at in the market at the moment, and I can feed my mob for a few days, and I can deposit all that carbon and manure and fertility on my farm, we're going to do it. Hey guys, the boys love it out there. Look at Otto scratching the head of that heifer there. It was really interesting. I was talking to a lot of different farmers, a lot of different consumers, and a constant talking point from the guys that were there, from the men and women that were there that were farming at a broader scale, proper generational going concerns. One of the things that I heard multiple times was, how do we bridge the gap with consumers? How do we communicate with consumers? How do we share more with them about the realities on the farm and what we do and why we do it? We get, you're okay, buddy. We just get smashed with expectations, with criticism, too much antibiotics, too much grain, too much poison, too much desiccation, whatever it is. How do we bridge that gap? One of the comments I had was, well, every time consumers enter in a conversation and give you feedback, like this Bovear situation, what happens? You turn around and the industry calls consumers dumb, stupid, uninformed, conspiracy theorists, ignorant. Customers are telling you, we just want food with that crap in it, and all you need to grow beef is water and grass. And water, well, grass in today's context is hay, junk hay that I bought for $25 a bale, plus cartage.
Got horn.
You got the horn?
Yeah, need that horn.
You be careful about Miss Betsy because she's a little bit spicy. She's being very kind to you, but she can get up on that veil very quickly, Otto. Hey Miller, how you doing? Hey? And an interesting talking point, you know, an interesting comparison if we want to draw a few different species of dung beetles. If we want to draw a comparison, is antibiotics. Our customers want to purchase protein that's antibiotic free. They don't want any antibiotics. And when they're shopping, they're looking for those labels. But most of those people would use antibiotics quickly if their child was sick and the doctor prescribed it. So how come we have this cognitive dissonance? How come we have this disconnect in consumers where they want their livestock, their protein to be raised without antibiotics, but they'd use it at home? It's quite simple. And I know this wigs farmers out, but it's quite simple. Consumers have heard about the realities of industrial farms, feedlots, commercial dairies, where antibiotics are part of a preventative regimen. You know, animals turn up at the feedlot and they get a dose on the way in. And then it's fed in a subtherapeutic dose through their feedstuffs while they're there to keep them healthy, because they're put in such an unnatural, unhealthy position that they need it. And so consumers hear about these realities and they go, how do we protect ourselves? You run to the buggy, go hop in the bug. How do we protect ourselves from these realities which we want no part of? Well, the knee-jerk reaction is antibiotic free. Now, I don't believe if I sat down with any of these consumers and had a one-on-one that they would be never ever under any circumstances should antibiotics be used. What if a cow walks past a bent star picket and slices its guts open? I've actually had this happen. I had a cow walk past the star picket that was in the middle of the paddock. It didn't have a fence strung on it. It's another story. And sliced itself over the top of the guts between the hip and the ribs. And guys, it was such a deep cut, you could see its intestines. It was brutal. And we got the vet to come out and the vet sewed it together. We actually didn't need antibiotics, and because the vet said, look, let's just flush it out, let the sunshine and fresh air come in and keep an eye on it. And we ended up having a good recovery. But that is the sort of situation where consumers, by and large, even our crunchy, concerned, frilly hippie customers would be very happy to deploy measures to protect our animals, to heal our animals, to nurture our animals, and to keep them healthy and safe. But they shop for antibiotic free because they understand that in commercial farming, antibiotics are a preventative. Do you understand what I'm saying? If we were using these medications and chemicals judiciously and pragmatically, consumers would have a sense of respect and appreciation for the use. But because industrial level agriculture is sinning against the nature of these animals and forcing them into environments that are unnatural, and we're needing to rely on these sorts of technologies and medications to prevent dis-ease. Cool, hey? Oh, we love watching the cows graze the tree lines. I don't know why, but it just gets us so excited. But because that's a reality, this is the knee-jerk reaction of a customer. How does a consumer protect themselves against that reality? The only way because of the limited amount of information that's put forward on a label or a product, they have to have these sorts of blanket rules. Bovear free, grain free, antibiotic free. Now we're getting customers asking us for vaccine free out of a knee-jerk reaction from mRNA vaccinations. Customers don't want it, a huge amount. You would be shocked to know how often I get asked about mRNA vaccinations. Their issue, they've understood that animals have been vaccinated for decades and decades and decades, and it's never been concerned. But now that they're concerned about mRNA vaccines, they're wanting animals that are vaccine-free. Do you see the knee-jerk reaction? And hey, beautiful. My comments to the groups that I was speaking to was, you say, how do we build a bridge? How do we communicate? How do we form common ground? And then customers say, we want vaccine free. We want antibiotic free. We want grain free. We want we want animals that are raised without Bovear or whatever it's called. And the knee-jerk reaction of commercial and industrial industry is to call these people stupid, uneducated, conspiracy theorists. So do you really want to know what your consumers are thinking, the people who pay your bills? The one, I guess, the leg up that Walkie Farm has, that we have in this specific situation I'm speaking about, is these are the people that we speak directly to daily. Also, do you want to start the buggy up and drive it around to the gate, and I'll let you through? We'll get out of this paddock. Just nice and slow, buddy, low range. I speak to these people daily. There's no intermediary. There's no broad scale wholesaler. There's no brand in the middle. There's Tamaliki, isn't she beautiful? We cut the beef, we pack the beef, we sell the beef and put it in the hand directly of the person who eats it. And we get to hear these feedbacks, these concerns, these queries, these praises, these talking points immediately. Take it for what it's worth. But if you're interested in hearing about what the cutting edge consumer wants, what the industry leading consumer wants, what the consumer who's willing to pay the most dollars per kilo wants, it's clean, green food that's raised in a way that it doesn't need to be medicated, and that the environment's healthy. Or regenerative. Doesn't even mean the environment's healthy. It means it's on the way to better health. You could take over a flogged out piece of land and have a management program that's on the way to health. And I really believe that if you communicated that to these consumers, they'd be willing to put their dollar behind you. Thanks, guys. You have a great day.